Welcome to the latest episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. This is episode 178, Finding Your Motivation for Consistency with Your Health and Wellness Goals. Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Real World Nutrition Podcast. I'm Shelly Rael, registered dietitian nutritionist, and here to help guide you in making your nutrition and wellness work in real life without gimmicks. So real world nutrition, I say, hey, we're all living and eating in the real world. So how can we navigate that in life without having gimmicks that are temporary or not sustainable? But also considering that with nutrition comes general wellness as well. So as much as people say, hey, why aren't you just talking about food? Well, this is a very broad topic, and our nutrition affects our overall wellness as well as our overall wellness affecting some of our nutrition choices. All right, with that, today, as I said in the title, which was absurdly long for some reason, I want to talk about motivation because let's be honest, setting goals is easy. I love setting up goals and even those incremental steps. But actually taking action, sticking to them, and continuing to take action, that's usually where the challenge lies. So we can say we're going to do 12 workouts in a month, but actually doing it is the challenge for a lot of people. So if you've ever struggled to stay consistent with your health and wellness goals, regardless of what they are, this episode's for you. So I'm going to talk about two key motivational styles, something that's often called the carrot versus the stick approach, and help you think about what really truly drives you. And then give some practical steps on staying on track with exercise and nutrition and self-care or whatever your wellness goals are. So hopefully by the end, you'll have a better idea of how you can create sustainable habits that actually work for you. So not just having the goals, but the habits to reach those goals. So let's talk about the motivation and the carrot versus the stick approach. Now, first thing I want to say is motivation is what gets us started. Different things drive different people. So it's not the same for everybody. And there's probably, very likely, other motivational styles, but with this carrot versus stick approach, that's of course what I'm addressing today. So the carrot approach is reward-based motivation. So if we think of the carrot, you might have seen this image before where a donkey is pulling a cart and there is a carrot hanging in front of the donkey, like on the end of a fishing pole, that is making the donkey move forward because the donkey wants to reach that carrot. So that's what's meant by the carrot approach. So this is about incentives. So this is something positive that keeps you moving forward. So while you may not be interested in carrots, visualizing that donkey wanting to reach for that carrot, that keeps that donkey moving forward. Positive, they like the carrot, so they're going to keep walking. So that's what the carrot part is. The carrot part is based on incentives, and really want to explain a little bit more. So if you complete your workouts in the month. So going back to that example of doing 12 workouts in a month, you treat yourself to a reward. So that could be a massage, a new workout outfit. Maybe that's not something that motivates you, but doing something like going to the movies or getting a new set of sunglasses, whatever it may be. But that's the thing, is saying you're going to complete 12 workouts is one thing. Actually doing the 12 workouts and sticking to what that treat or reward is at the end of it is what is helpful. So some people find that small, frequent rewards work best, while others need a bigger reward after hitting a major milestone. So I think I've used this example before, but I'll bring it up again. Back when I was training for running different events, and I shouldn't say I needed to, it was best if I ran a certain number of times per week. So I would run so many times per month. And for each month, I got a reward at the end. Then at the end of 4 months, or after completing that running event, I got the bigger reward at the end. So that was part of that intrinsic motivation, or more specifically, those little things that I knew about and would not give myself that reward without meeting that goal. Now, of course, some people can say, well, I will get that massage whether I do it or not. Obviously, that's not the right way for you. So when I said intrinsic, what that's more specifically how you feel. So when people tend to eat healthier or have more energy because they're exercising regularly, that feeling good is an intrinsic or an internal motivation. So I'm feeling good, so I'm going to keep doing this. It's not affecting anybody. It's not necessarily that physical reward, but that motivation. When you're exercising regularly, you tend to hurt less. You tend to feel more energized. You tend to sleep better. That's a reward in itself. So the stick, or the consequence-driven motivation, that's where instead of the donkey having the carrot, the person in the cart is actually smacking the donkey. I know this is not nice to hear, but that's what is meant by it. So nudging the donkey, patting him on the behind with the stick. Move forward, move forward. So that's talking about avoiding a negative outcome. The donkey would keep walking so they don't get poked by the stick or hit by the stick. So avoiding the negative outcome can be a personal consequence or external accountability. And I'll say this. A lot of times people say, and we know this, people don't think about the negative outcome if it's a health-related, chronic health issue. So for example, saying if you don't eat healthy, you're probably going to get heart disease. That's so abstract to most people. Even if they've witnessed it in their own family or people close to them, it's still abstract. So that's not a consequence that tends to work for most people. So an example of a negative outcome is if you don't follow through on your fitness plan. So if you don't work out 12 times this month, you might have to pay money to an organization you don't support when you actively hate, perhaps. Another example is I've known people where their work will pay for their gym membership if they get so many workouts per month. So the gym membership is paid for, but if you just have that gym membership that somebody else is paying for, but you're not using it, you have to pay. So that's another example of a stick. It could also be a reward as well. So some of these could go both ways. But not following through on your fitness plan, you have to pay for your gym membership, or you have to pay to support something you don't. But something else, so opposite of the intrinsic motivation where you're feeling better, it could be an accountability pressure. So talking about I'm going to do this running event and telling my coworkers, they knew I was doing that, so I felt that accountability that if I up and decided not to do it, all my coworkers would know I gave up. Now, that's not the worst thing, but my ego didn't let me do that. But it could also be something like if you skip meal planning or doing some of the meal prep, you're going to be left scrambling and maybe have some unhealthy options. That doesn't tend to be as much as an accountability pressure for many people in my experience. But at the same time, if you think that people know when they're eating healthier, they feel better, that may also come into play with that accountability. You know, when you meal prep or meal plan at least, you're going to feel better because you're eating healthier and you're going to have more energy. So some people do respond well to this approach if they need that external pressure to stay committed. So I've mentioned this in the past. Having an accountability partner often tends to be both that carrot, but also more of a stick approach where you need that accountability. So which style works best for you? Are you a carrot person or the stick person? But honestly, let's just say this. It depends on your personality, what drives you. So some people really like having that reward to work towards. The big reward of, hey, we're going to take this vacation. If we meet this goal, we can take this vacation. So diving a little bit off from the health and wellness aspect, but if we save so much money, we will be able to afford this vacation. So if we set aside this much money each week, each month, whatever it may be, by making some small sacrifices, we're going to have this bigger vacation. So again, that's kind of a carrot or stick approach. The reward, saving this money, the carrot. The stick might be the negative consequences of not going out to eat as much, but you're going to still have that big vacation. So, some people like that reward to work towards, as I said, while others need that pressure to stay on track. But here's the reality. It's not black or white, as with many things in nutrition, health, wellness. Most of us do need a combination of both. A little incentive as well as a little accountability, however that may look. So once again, having that reward when I was doing so many running events, not running events, but runs when I was training for an event, I got small rewards in the interim, but also the accountability when I shared that with a friend, a coworker. She knew what my rewards were, and she would call me out if I had tried to get a reward without doing it. Now, she wasn't studying every single step I took, but it was something where I wanted that extra layer of accountability. So how do you know which one works best for you? You may already know this, but really, a quick self-assessment is ask yourself, what have you been most successful in sticking with a habit? Or should I say, when have you been most successful in sticking to a habit? Was it because of a reward? Was it because of accountability? Or was it both? So in the examples I've given, it was both. Now, I'm not running anymore, but if I have other goals as it relates to workouts, is it the reward? Is it the accountability? Is it both? So here's the thing. If rewards work for you, set up a non-food reward system. And I only say that, it's encouraging that it be non-food reward system when it comes to health, often because there's this idea that if I starve myself for this period of time, then I can eat whatever I want as a result, as the reward. So that's kind of the mentality as it relates to that. If rewards work for you, set up a non-food reward system. But it could work as a food reward system if that's something that works. So you're not starving yourself. It's, hey, I have been going and doing my workouts regularly, did it 20 times this month. Let's enjoy a nice dinner. But not everybody wants or likes the rewards of food. I've met people where I am so excited to share all the food places to go in a particular vacation spot, and they have zero interest in it. I don't get it, but acknowledging that not everybody is motivated by food, but there's other things. So again, it's preferred to be a non-food reward, but sometimes it's okay if it is. So we don't want not having food to be a type of punishment. but also think about the accountability. So setting up consequences that keep you on track without being discouraging. So sharing with somebody what your goals are, but that person should not be shaming you if you don't meet those goals. Like, oh, I thought you said you were going to work out 20 times this month and you haven't gone to the gym at all. That's not helpful. But saying, hey, let's go to the gym together 10 times this month. And then that's helpful in some accountability. I hope these examples work or help you understand some of these. So let's talk about how to stay consistent with your health goals. So now that you hopefully have an idea of what drives your motivation, let's talk about some practical strategies to stay consistent. So first up, tie your habits to the immediate benefits. So long-term rewards are great, but find a way to make that habit rewarding now. So if struggling to exercise is something you have as one of your challenges, focus on that immediate boost of energy or that stress relief. It's rare that I've gone for a workout, even though I didn't want to. But when I've done a workout, I feel good at the end of it. I'm so glad I did it. So that's tying to the habit, to those immediate benefits, that intrinsic motivation there. Now, 2, use external accountability if you need it. So again, some people thrive on that social support or structured accountability. So having a workout buddy, or sign up for a fitness class, or commit to a challenge. So that was something in my old work, we used to do challenges on a regular basis, and people loved that. And it wasn't the reward of who was the most fit or who had the most steps. It was the group competition, so to speak, or that challenge of, hey, let's do this together. And the challenge was getting so many steps per week or working out so many times per week. And again, you can even make a commitment to donate money if you don't follow through. So I've seen plenty of bets where people bet each other and say, hey, I bet you can't do this many workouts. Or I bet you can, I can. And if I don't, I will write this check. I know some people don't know what that is, but write the check to the charity that they don't support. So some people write the check from the beginning and it just sits there until the challenge has ended or the commitment has reached that certain point. And that needs some external accountability because people can just bail out on that. But number 3, here's a big one. I shouldn't say but number 3. Number 3, make your goals specific and manageable. So instead of the, I'll try to eat healthier, I'm going to eat healthier, it's more of, I will add 1 vegetable to every meal this week. Instead of, I'll work out more, it's, I'll go for a 20-minute walk 4 times this week. But make it manageable. If 4 times this week is not doable for you, of course make it, I will go for a 20-minute walk at least once this week, and then go from there. So number 4, that brings me to number 4, build on flexibility. So you heard this term before. I know it gets tiring. I get tired of saying it, but it isn't about being perfect. It's about the forward progress. So saying, I'll go on a 20-minute walk 4 times this week. You know what? If 4 times is not practical, but the fact that you did 3, that's better than saying, never mind, I'm not going to do it. If you miss a workout, if you have an off day, that's not a reason to completely quit. It's you don't give up, you adjust and keep going. So I have this idea. I'm reading 100 pages of a book per week. And I listen to audiobooks, but I need to calm my mind. And this is part of self-care. Doing that one thing of sitting and reading a book, 100 pages per week. I got 2 books done in the month of January. But in February, things got hectic. I got 30 pages the whole month of February, not even 30 pages per week. Does that mean anything other than I didn't meet my goals, but guess what? I'm still setting a goal each week to read 100 pages per week. So it's not giving up. It's adjusting and keeping going. So I didn't get the 100 pages a week in February. I didn't even get 100 pages. I still finished 3 books because I was listening to audiobooks. I was doing a lot of driving this month. So that's what it is. But that can be part of the next tip is create a habit stacking system. So pair a new habit with an existing one. So stretching while your coffee brews. Doing squats during TV commercials. You know, not everybody does that. People have heard it. You know, that's a thing. Sometimes I often fast forward through TV commercials. But what works? So that habit stacking system is I want to be a little bit more intentional and less multitasking. I also want to read so many books this year. So to minimize multitasking, I have set a goal to read 12 physical books per year. So that's a habit stacking. By doing less multitasking and reading 12 physical books, I'm getting both things done there. I have to stop doing anything else while I'm reading a book. Listening to a book, that's a whole different thing. But that's just an example of a habit stacking system. But I want to do this final thought, final takeaway here, is that motivation isn't one size fits all. It's normal for it to ebb and flow. You may be motivated in some aspects of your life very easily, and other aspects not so much. Your partner, your spouse, family may have very different motivation styles, but maybe help each other if that works for you. But the key here is finding what works for you and setting up a system that keeps you moving forward. So again, the small, consistent efforts add up to big results over time. So consistently reading 100 pages per week, I'll get to those 12. I'll keep doing it. May even get more than 12 in this year, 12 books. But being consistent in those efforts, it'll add up. So with that, if you want help with some motivation to build consistency, I would encourage you to set up a free introductory call with me. I'll have the link in the show notes where you can go to the calendar link, set up a free 30-minute introductory call, and we can discuss what your goals might be and how you can set up some motivation as well as making sure you reach those goals, but also making sure that they're realistic. All right, and with that, I would ask if you enjoyed today's episode, be sure to subscribe or follow the podcast. It comes out every Friday. Leave a review, share it with somebody who you think might benefit from it. And with that, thanks for listening. Take care and bye for now.